Let's get together, see if anybody's here to take in the live for tonight. See if I got anybody coming through. I didn't really advertise it tonight, but let me see. See if we got anybody. See what we got right here. See what we working with. See, I see somebody coming through. What's up? What's up? How you doing? I thought I'd do a little bit kind of a spontaneous tonight. I got inspired, so I figure, you know, how you doing? Can you hear me? Give me a one. If you can hear me loud and clear, I think I'll be on for like an hour and a half tops. Um, Thought I'd come on tonight. Cool. We're gonna see what we're working with. I got a question already lined up. Yeah, that was a big thing. I hold on, let me do this thing. Why did I do that thing like a crackhead? Do this thing again. I misspelled. That's not the one. Give me a minute. Are you? Why are they doing it to me? Okay, so I got it down. I can't really do that because then I'd have to almost go back to Michael Irvin and Dallas and Philadelphia. And also because um, I might do a video about that with Deshaun Watson, but it's kind of a tricky proposition because of the complexity of him. That's the reason. It's a little tricky. You do understand. First of all, that's better. That'd be better as a video than it would be as a a poll question because he's a complex story. I might do that as a video, but to do that as a solo thing is not the same. You understand what I'm getting at? He doesn't merit a poll question here because most people ain't going to care about that. I'm going to do that when we get closer to the week. I think I did do the thing where I alluded to the Dodgers already when I started that. I think that we'll get more about the NBA. I'll do that. If I come back this weekend, and I got a whole weekend to talk about it because I'll see what game one is like. So I got time between Friday and Sunday. If I come back and do something Sunday, I will. I'm gonna see if Deshaun Watson merits a video by himself, though. I might do that though, because I did do it about that, and we talked about the Yankees. I talked about the Dodgers, So it'll probably come out about it though. But I can't really talk about the Brown fans because the problem being is he's a complex story. It's bigger. Is it football related? Is it personal related? That's why. They do. They do. They do. And they gotta win a game that is a Yankee way, not a Dodger way. Yeah, yeah. Because they win different ways. I mean, he ran that ball down the sideline off of Fred Warner, which was crazy. He did a 33-yard run, which is the longest of his career. And the scary part is you don't look at Mahomes making a run or a play these days like he did 3 or 4, 5 years ago. So that was freaky in itself. Yeah. So Kansas City got a good chance. I mean, Kareem Hunt, no one's talking about it. Low key has been pivotal. They got a good, and their defense. Say what you want to say. They made Purdy look ugly. And he's looked bad, but he looked ugly. So their defense is for real. They got a real good shot. If they can win in different way, think about this. After that first week, Baltimore has fought. Baltimore looked the best team I've seen so far has been the Detroit Lions. If I had to pick one team that I've seen, but to me, Kansas City, Detroit, and Baltimore are my three best teams that I've seen. And one more team out the NFC Central. It's either going to be Minnesota or Green Bay. I can't quite put my finger because I got to see that again. Who could be a threat? But the best teams overall I've seen are in the NFC. But Kansas City's still the team to beat. And Kansas City's style can beat anybody. So that's all I can say with that. What's happening? Football fan of the year. You got a Patriots logo. So much respect to you. Yeah. No, Buffalo ain't in the they gotta get better defense. They're not there's tiers to this. I can't see them beating those teams right now. They haven't been consistent. Yeah. Bronny and LeBron. LeBron will have 30 and Bronny will have negative 30. So there you go. So I think 30. I ain't expecting Bronny to do much. If Ant comes at him like I know Ant can, that's gonna be a long night. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. He gonna have to score if he can get 4 or 5 points. Yeah, I know. I know, and I'm not excited about it because I don't care about the NBA until we get to after February. You know football season rules, World Series is good. NBA is a freak show. No one really gets into it until we get, you know, gotta get some more seasoning with it. It don't really jump off like that. We don't get excited about it. I know I don't. I'm not really. And they're gonna have them stupid ads about the All-Star vote and all that mess. And of course, this is last year TNT, so but I'm not excited about the NBA this year. And I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound blasphemous, but I'm gonna say it. I think Boston should win it. Just on I did the Jalen Brown and they should win it. Because he's a young kid. I don't care about that whackness. I don't care about no in-season tournament. That's embarrassing. Because he's a young kid. He's not his father. His father had a man's body when he came to the NBA. He still had the stuff to work on, but he had a man's body. Bronny does not have a full-grown man's body. He's still growing. And LeBron had physicality, so they cut. Well, I got news for you. Neither one of those teams are going to make it, but uh, one of them got a chance. One of them got kind of a chance. The other ain't got no chance. Let me make you guess who you think which one. In hindsight, they were. They were incredible 1-year wonder. They're one of the best teams I've ever seen for 1 year. I will agree. Well, if he's already out, then they're gonna be out. They're not going nowhere. But they should have enough firepower to beat Kelly Oubre not Kelly Oubre, him, Maxi, Paul George should be enough to get them through. Oh shucks, you're the worst. Well, Jay will need to meet that the you well well. And then I forget anything I said. Anyway, I don't care about Philly no way because it's gonna be about Boston, Milwaukee. Milwaukee is the team to keep your eyes on. I don't know who he is, Virginia Redbone, so I don't eat that stuff. I'm a vegetarian. I do vegetarian vegan, so I don't get down with that. You're funny, Virginia Redbone. Uh, in what lifetime? In what lifetime? In what lifetime? I'll say this. That's where I see Giannis could go. Now, I like black eyed peas. I don't eat pork. Vegetarian, vegan. I don't eat any meat. So, um, okay, from South Carolina. I got family from there. I know. I lived in the South, so I know you're from the South. I used to live in Virginia too. Um, Now Golden State, no, they playing tournament team. But I do like Buddy Hill. Buddy Hill looking pretty good. No, I don't do that. Again, you got me mixed up with the wrong person. I don't do that. But I'm down with Southern cuisine back in the day. I don't eat like that no more though. But now y'all need to stop with all these y'all NBA finals. It's Ted, who's your NBA finals pick? Since everybody's in here playing cra- cracking me up with these picks. I'm like, Lakers, Golden State, Milwaukee, Philly. Are you kidding? I said vegetarian. I don't do meat. That means none of that. None, 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 none. My finals picks would probably be everybody would want to see Boston, Minnesota, but I'd probably say Boston and Denver. But I wouldn't mind Boston and OKC. I wouldn't mind OKC. Shea's been getting so disrespected because everybody's all in love with Ant. But yeah, I'm glad he's getting a job. He tried it in college. He didn't, he had mixed results. They're trying to get him hooked up. Somebody likes Stackhouse. Stackhouse was a tough dude, but he's also a studio gangster. So no, so Golden State will be interesting. Excited for the return of NBA's 80%. So I didn't know what I was saying. So I'm on here. I'm going to see how people are because if I get commentary, conversation, I'll be on here for a minute. If I don't get too much, I'll only be here for an hour. So let's just see what we talk about. But I thought I would talk about the night one. But Ted, if you're out there, let's come back on because I want to address what you had asked. I don't want to talk about I would may consider that a video, but I'd have to think about it. And I'd have to think of if D Watt was going to be considered essential. That's real in the South, J. Will. That is real. Yeah, it's real, J. Will. If you're in the dirty, they eat everything. It's Louisiana's gumbo, and it depends on what the back roads is. They all kinds of stuff you couldn't imagine. You couldn't even imagine. Cut it with onions and peppers and greenery. It's real. Anyway, appreciate all the people coming through too. And what's up? Welcome back. I remember you from yesterday. Yeah, if it's done right. I had it in Louisiana. I used to have it down. The Yankees in seven, because I'm saying that as a respect to the Dodgers. But if the Dodgers win, they're winning five. I got to give them their due. I don't think the Yankees can sweep them or beat them in five, but I think the Yankees can win a long series. So It's a different thing. Mary J. Blige and Wycliffe, if you're talking about the song. If you're talking about the song. But depends on what you mean when you say who did 911, because if you talked about, so we've been through all that stuff. I know exactly what's going on with this. So is the queen? Who's the queen? Who's the queen? I don't know who you're talking about, so I don't partake. I don't know which one. Oh, I heard bye. You could take that however you want to. I've heard stuff, of course. When you're in the industry, anything goes. You had me thinking about that because you didn't say Queen B. If you'd have said the Queen B, I don't know who you're talking about. Um, she's in the industry. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You know, there have been some rumors and some stuff that's going on. Would I be shocked or surprised? No, no. Most of the industry, there's agendas. Some people come at me and they say for pay, for stay, for way. Take it how you want to take it. So I usually don't get asked questions about Beyonce. She doesn't really come up in my generally speaking, if I have videos, I've talked about it, but I talked about her albums. And I do believe that she and Jay-Z know more, especially by association with Puffy. But I this is a very strategic situation with so much going on. So anyway. Come on, everybody, keep on getting the questions. I see there's more viewers coming in. Feel free to come on in. If you got questions and commentary just like that, I'll answer it. I will answer. So come on through. So people are excited about the NBA's return. 83% says yes. There's a lot of basketball fans. Think they, but which is amazing to me because football is far more entertaining. Baseball right now is far more entertaining. But we got a lot of different takes. Anybody out there, let me know. I am waiting, waiting, waiting for comments and questions. Everybody's kind of stalling now, so let's see what we get. Let's see what we got. Anybody out here? Anybody out here? Come on now, let's see what we get. People done gone quiet now. Testing the waters, testing the waters. I If you can hear me and you on, please say something. That's a great question. That is a fantastic question. If they win, yes. If they win. If they win. Um, Justin Jefferson doesn't have Randy Moss's magnitude, though. That's the only thing. He's great, but it's not the same. Ant-Man, though, in the other way, yeah, he's got that it. I don't think Justin Jefferson's got that it. He's talented, but it's not the same uh shine as it was for Randy Moss? That's a great question, though. Great question. And that may have been a question I would considered I might consider to put that in a video, but I'll do that in another time. That is a great question, though, because you used Minnesota real nicely. If they win, if they win, yes, that's a great question. I never been asked that one before, and I never would have thought about it because we're talking Minnesota. But that's a great question. But I think that Ant Man's got that it. He's polarizing already. How you doing? Where are you coming from? Because I don't even know where that's at. So please enlighten and educate me. I've never even heard of that. Got any questions? Feel free. Oh, well, I'm going to give you credit because I never would have thought about it. And the thing is this: it's a great question. The only problem is that Ant is polarizing already, and he's a real quote cat. But you know, if they win in Minnesota automatically. Okay, okay. But that don't but when you say SI cover, right, you talking 2024. This ain't 1994, Ted. SI covers don't carry the same kind of weight like they did 30 years ago. That's all. But they are Jefferson is bad. He just doesn't to me, when I think about Randy Moss, that kind of charisma, who's the most charismatic receiver going today? And talking about totality. And see, Ant is more charismatic. Ant got that it. Ant got that it. If you know what I'm talking about when I say that it, he got that it. Everybody ain't got that it. So that's why. Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you see last night? 5 touchdowns? And all this subtle Skip Bayless Baker Mayfield comeback tour love. He went in his house and tore that butt up. And he's been, I'm telling you, he's Phil Nicholson. I kept saying it was Josh Allen. He's Phil Nicholson to Patrick Mahomes, Tiger Woods. Because he doing everything like right there. And then Mahomes is like right here. And he's like right up under. Deja vu. Because he's winning. He's his stats is crazy. And he's doing it on different levels, you know. And I'm still not blown away by his receiving core, too. That's the trip out thing. Derrick Henry's scary though. He's 11 a pop, and Tampa Bay's known for its run against the run. I mean, it's just scary. But they do have slippages in their style. I watched it last night. Faker just threw bad picks in the end zone. They get a field goals out of that. That game might be closer. Because one thing about Baltimore, you can move on them. Yeah, he threw two bad picks by the goal, by the end zone. He threw two bad picks. Humphrey's got two picks on him. And if they get field goals out of that, that's the 6 points right there. So that game might have been closer. But they couldn't stop Lamar and they couldn't stop Derrick Henry on the other side. So, But Baker doing Baker things last night at home too. And Tampa Bay's not that good on defense. But I'm just saying, Lamar's playing out his mind. He's balling. And Derrick Henry's I mean, if he ran like he ran in Tennessee, he would run 2,000. He I mean, that's a scary 1-2 punch they got. But anyway, I got asked yesterday which teams that I figure were gonna win. I said Baltimore and I said Arizona. That Arizona Chargers game was sad. Deplorable, boring, bland, blah, 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 blah. So they should never have two more games that were so. Well, that pick he threw, that one pick he threw in the corner was brutal, but that's what I expect. He's an old Baker. He's so lucky that the NFL is watered down now. He's in the right division. the right conference to look like he belonged as a second tier. Oh, that's what's saving Baker right there. I don't even talk about him. You know he'd fit in real good with the Raiders. They probably send like 3 draft picks for him. Oh god. He is brutal. He is brutal. Brutal. You gonna tell me he couldn't get Garnishawn's job and with the Raiders? I mean, it is brutal. Yeah, Daniel Jones. I know when Philadelphia gets them on the schedule, they be rubbing their toes together. Like, we gonna win this. They always embarrass him. And Saquon Barkley was just dancing all on them. Yes, the Giants are horrible. And Daniel Jones is sucks. I don't know how he gotta have a good video camera. I don't know how he's still starting because he's brutal. He's so bad, I don't even think Cleveland would take him. I mean, he's brutal. Oh boy. We say complexion for protection because he is brutal. Brutal. Did you catch any of my earlier videos today? Because I did my NFL take and I touched on some stuff earlier. Yeah, I did some stuff earlier. Sure did. I try not to talk about Daniel Jones because it's so bad that it gets you get numb. Yeah, okay. I got some done earlier. That game last night, the second game was horrible. That was like watching paint dry. Who done in their right mind put Arizona and the Chargers on? That was GG was ugly. I did a video. My video I did a video on it. My video should be out. And if it ain't, it's coming. Yes, I did the video on it. And I watched it and I saw the t-shirt. And what happened was Stephen A was very diplomatic and you ain't lying. That could be a topic on here. You so bad that you offensive. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. I ain't never seen so much bad quarterbacking that some of these cats, they ain't even fit to be ball boys. I mean, it's like, this is what? I'm like, y'all gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I was glad Jalen did. But Jalen is getting again because it's politics. And Stephen A is like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I said, well, you already did. We know how it go. It's not about you winning. You got a man who won. Oh, it's worse than who they throwing to. It's like who they paying off to throw so bad. Tell me that the mob got money on you to rig games. Please tell me that there's a mob boss up there tomorrow. Yeah, you just throw that ball. You throw that ball. Yeah, I want you to yeah. Tell me that. But don't tell me with a straight face that you practice all during the week and that you just sat there and that's the best you could come up with. Oh, you want to see something funny? Did you see the Michael Parsons video where he talked about Troy Aikman? And he's like, well, like we respect him, we look up to him, you know. I'm like, he told the facts. What you want? Yeah. Whose offensive line that was so deplorable that I saw? Um, the guys are not rehearsing no more. They're not rehearsing. And when I say that, a lot of guys are just getting ate up on the line. Like they don't really even the structure is off. It's just bad. They're getting pulled off the line. They're not simplifying the plays, and you can tell it's really brutal. I'm gonna think of some teams that well, Dallas offensive line ain't that good because nobody can run, but that's not their only problem. But that's one of the problems. But you just see it. You can see it. Yeah. Mayo called him soft, and Belichick said, I feel sorry for him." I was laughing. I saw Belichick say, "I feel sorry for you." Oh yeah, thank you for hipping me to the Belichick lines with the man. I've been watching some of the clips. That's why. Burrows is always hurt. They don't get that because the truth is that game against Cleveland, it just came down to that kickoff the start of the game. That game was pretty even, Steven. If Cleveland has half a quarterback, they might win that game or it goes as a tie because it really wasn't a lot going on. Cincinnati's offense is not that good. They're not that good. Yeah. They talk a lot of trash though. I don't talk about that. See, because sometimes there are videos that I won't do, I could do, but I'm not a fan of the team and they're not worthy of me talking about. But they do pop off a lot for being such a run of the mill team that always loves these slow starts, 2-4, 3-5, 4-6, or some mess, and then they decide to turn it on. But you're not that good for all that popping off they do. They're doing Joe Burrow a disservice. They got too much firepower to be so mediocre. Because they got some big boys at receivers and they can run, but that's like y'all just do dumb stuff. The Bengals are to me like the broke version of the Lions. Talk a lot of trash and won't be fun in games, but so he just don't have the right coach. What have I always tell you about when we talk about not having the right coach to coach up your talent? He got the same problem Josh Allen's got. Yeah, they got a Super Bowl runner up, but imagine if he had a coach who knew how to really get the best of him. What do you think that would be like? What do you think would be the results? You put them in Pittsburgh, they're going to a Super Bowl, or they're going to be in the AFC Championship game at least 2 or 3 years. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Put him with the right situation. If you don't, he's going to be a woulda, coulda, shoulda, and you start to get old quick. Telling you, you don't get the right situation. You're looking at Patrick Mahomes camping out, and you are coulda been, should didn't get the right coach, didn't get the right situation. Just saying. Because sooner or later, Burrow's gonna get tired of all that foolishness and they gonna wanna do something, you know. And if I'm yup. Well, meatheads are pretty like just so the meathead coaches are obviously Mike McCarthy. The Giants head coach is a meathead. The Raiders head coach is a meathead. I like him, but he's a meathead because um Sean Payton is a thick meathead, but he's arrogant enough to get some wins, but it backfired. New Orleans got a meathead coach, he should be gone. Um Peterson with Jacksonville's a meathead. Um, and when I call cats meatheads, it's because they just do dumb stuff, but they have situations where it could be better and corrected. That's why I get. That's what that term be. Because you're just a meathead. Because you're too thick and you're not getting the right cut. You got something there, but you just come off dumb. His gimmick, not a meathead, he a gimmick ball. See, that's a different topic. Miami loves this. Remember Soprano that was the coach with the Wildcat, and now this cat McDaniel. They in the gimmick ball in Miami. They do gimmick. They gimmick head. They do gimmick heads. They always got some new gimmick they try in Miami. Like, how about we line three over here and four? I mean, they always got some gimmick coaches. There's a reason why the ghost of Don Shula should haunt they behinds too. Cause always trying to do a gimmick with my after Don Shula, all I got out of Miami is gimmick coaches. Jimmy Johnson was gimmicky, Soprano was gimmicky, and this cat's gimmicky. And you see what's happening. They soft, they get punched in the mouth, they can't stand the cold weather, and they butts a casualty. They're not even gonna make the playoffs. It would be sick, but the problem with that is that it would limit Lamar. The problem with that is this postseason. And see what has happened is that, you start to play half field football, so teams start to line up on that. So you're gonna get 8 deep because teams are gonna get up on you. That's the problem with that. If they were not about winning and they just having fun, yeah. But when we start talking about legacy, see, Lamar eventually is going to be about legacy. He lose to Kansas City enough, he gonna have enough of this. That's why. That's why. Because they tried to discipline him last year in the AFC Championship game. He just getting a taste of being there. They don't win this year. You can bet your bottom dollar ain't gonna be no. I don't think they want to do that with him because they don't want to because he can pass freestyle. I don't think they. And I think the way Harbaugh coaches, he don't want to do it because it looks too gimmicky. I agree with you. If they were in Miami, yeah, yeah. If you're in Tennessee, yeah. But if you're with a team that's kind of like a contender, no, no. I agree with you, but it depends on who's your coach and who you playing for. That may not make sense to you, but it'll make sense if you think about it. Because they wouldn't do that with just anybody. Some coaches that would not fly, some coaches that would fly, and sometimes that would get you fired. Just saying, you know. If I was the 49ers, I would do it though. I like Madsen and I like Purdy to do that because I think that go Caden's going run left, he getting caught. I do it in some instances. If you got a running game, or you can manipulate, but Lamar and that would bring too much attention, and they don't want Henry to get pounded. That's why they limit his carries. That's why they're using him the way they're doing it. They're strategically doing it. So that's what's going to be on with that. So anyway, but it's a good take though. I like that though. Okay, come on out with them questions. We got more views up. We having a good night so far. Got more people coming through. I guess coming through more often on a Humdrum will get more people coming through. So feel free to come on in if you got questions. We talking about whatever we gonna talk about. 71% is excited about the return of the NBA. I don't know, and I wonder if that's got to do with you know, that's a good question. I gotta probably give a nod to Vic still. I still gotta give it a nod to Vic. But I will say this though. Lamar play action is scary. His shake and bait is more wicked, but Vic pure running was scarier. I'd say if I can say that because Lamar is stronger, and then he will twist on you, and you ain't expecting that. But Vic, it was like poetic. I mean, it was smooth. It was smooth. So that's how I would describe it. And maybe I'm getting too NFL analytical. If you like it, give me a one. If you think I'm hitting it on the one, because Lamar can shake you like Sandlot. Vic can too, but it's a different style. Like Lamar turned that thing, but Vic was smooth though. It was smooth. And I haven't Mahomes is smooth like Vic when he does it when he does the fake like what he did on that run Sunday. But it's again, it's all different too. Because Mahomes beat you with power. Lamar beat you with power, but he beat you with that shake. But Vic was just smooth with it. It was finesse. That was finesse. And Randall Cunningham used to give you like acrobat with it though. So that's why they're not all the same. People always saying that all black quarterbacks are all run. No, it's not the same. Aikman, come on now. Aikman in a blowout. Steve Young took a long time before he got better. You gotta remember something. And it's no offense, but you had Jerry Rice and you had the coax it and it took you a while. Aikman was getting his got his punches and his bruises. But him and Irvin and Emmett all came together, but he showed tenacity. He's also a better analyst too, if you want my opinion. I wasn't the biggest Aikman fan, but I got much respect. Got a troll on here. Gotta get the troll off. People come over here trolling. But yeah, and I respect Steve Young, but Aikman was better. Aikman was better because they got to where they got because of what he was doing. So Am I supposed to be impressed with that though? I know why he roasting him though. He got every right to because Aaron Rodgers held the Jets hostage. And see, I didn't said some stuff on here, got asked by you ad came at me and I said, look, he was washed. I've been telling you that for the longest time. And Rex Ryan is probably tired of his mouth. I've been tired of and I know Shannon Sharp is too. I've been tired of Aaron Rodgers for years. Okay. He talk a good, relax, I'm gonna do this. He old now. The sacks that he takes up the front is just you think this is a tough one. It's not. I wanted to say personally, as far as pure running, I'd say Derrick Henry. But if you ask me who's the better back, it's Emmett Smith in a blowout. Why? Because Emmett Smith led his team. Emmett Smith was more confident in the big picture. Derrick Henry ain't played with he did he led with Tennessee, but Emmett, undersized, utilized, did the thing. Emmett came up in some games where he had to come up. Derrick Henry hasn't really been in that kind of task. He hasn't really been in that kind of task. He's a better power back, but Emmett came up clutch. And I'm not even the biggest Emmett Smith fan like that, but he was clutch. So until Derrick Henry comes up in clutch moments, let me know. Because like last night's a good example. He had a great game, but it was stunt running. Lamar had set the set the pace for the Cowboys. He set the tone. He set the tone. So I know why you're doing it, but now I gotta get you're asking me who was the better, and I'm gonna say Emmett. Who would I like watching running more? Derrick Henry. But I gotta give where credit's due because he E22 was the truth. And he carried them. Still my game against the Eagles 30 years ago. Cole, he came up big. He came up big. Emmett was tough. I'm gonna be biased because I always loved Marcus Allen, but Marshall Falk with the double jointed thing was on another level. You know, Marcus was my childhood favorite, but I gotta say Falk. Again, if we talking in totality, I gotta say Falk. But I like Marcus more, but Falk was better. See how I did that? Don't want to come with no biases. Don't want to have no biases because I want to be 100. If you ask me, if you ask me music, movies, sports stuff, you know, I'll tell you what my heart is for, but I'll tell you what the reality is there. There are some exceptions. It depends on what topic we're talking about, but Marshall Falk's gonna get that one. And I like Marcus better, but he's gonna get it better. AP got the longer career, so that's the way you go for. But if I was going by peak and prime, I'm taking Earl Campbell. But if we go by the impact overall totality, it's AP. But if I go by that window, you know, let me give you an example when I talk about a window. Bobby Brown and Usher or Bobby Brown, Chris Brown, they got longer careers. But if I can go by the window, that window that was open about that much, give me Bobby Brown. Give me that window that's open about that much, give me Earl Campbell. Cause he it was a different NFL. As bad as AP was, he never had the kind of the Tyler Rose was something else. Campbell was a beast. It's just that they got robbed out of the AFC Championship game. He had Dan Pastorini as a quarterback. So I tell you something. He was a bad boy though. Bad. But AP was stuck with what's that buster he had? That whack Christian Pont. He sucks. So okay, so there's an even. They even. I think Pastorini was better than Christian Ponder. But anyway, AP got the longer run. And AP got robbed too. But Earl is one of those guys that was a bad man. Bad, bad, bad. Strong, bad. Oh God, who give me choices. That's a big um you want me to say Deshaun, but I didn't have no I thought Cleveland was gonna be better. You could say Trevor Lawrence, you could say Brock Purdy, you could say Jalen Hurt, you could say Dak Prescott. Um there's a lot. There's a lot. So it just depends on what your criteria is. Anything that the Raiders got, you can make that case. Um Broncos. You can make a case for a lot. They about almost average. I can't the reason why I can't say him is because I think it's fundamentally with the coaching. They just an average team at best. If he played with a team that gave him more options, who knows? That's the only reason why I can't say him. I had a feeling you might say him. I don't want to say him because I don't think it's all his fault. Arizona just seems like they're stat padding playing. I don't know what they're doing, but it's not clicking like it should. I'll give you that. But I don't know. What do you do with him? But you know, when you say disappointment, that leads to that because you're the focal point. And he does look down because they're taking a beating. The way they lost to Kansas City, the way they lost to Washington. You know, that all adds up. That takes its toll on you. And then you're always injury prone. So it's now his fault, but he gonna take a hit. He gonna take a hit. So I know what you're saying though. But sometimes you can't mask it. If you can't win, you can't like Mahomes can mask it because he's just that great. But what happens if you're not that great to not mask it? See, I'll give you an example. Josh Allen doesn't have any interceptions this year, but guess what? He's just they're not dynamic. So they 3 games over 500, but they look vulnerable in spurts against crap teams too. They struggled against Arizona, so they pulled away. Struggled this game. He is. But what he's doing is what you got caught Brady doing. You get into that fold where you win them and you know how to win them. And that's what makes you. Yeah, but they're not playing great though. So I've been told. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay, light blue nine is in the house. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay, light blue nine is in the house. LOL, tell me how you feel. Doing really well. Glad you came through. Won't who turn and won't ever dwell. Give me a face and make the chase. I'm right here in your face. We got a case. I bust a freestyle. I hope that you will stay a while. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. That's a little entertainment for you. I'm crazy enough. I freestyle. I will do stuff in here. I like to entertain, so thank you for coming through. I do like to entertain. Snoop had a birthday too. Hmm. Snoop had a birthday. Got a new product. He got something he's working on. I don't know. So we'll see. If I didn't put the well, I appreciate you subscribing. Thank you so much. I hope that you come back again and you come back again and you got questions and where you're coming from. I appreciate you. I'm always welcoming subscribers. Bring your friends, and you got questions. I welcome it. We're gonna try to have a good time, and I look forward to people coming through. Try to give it a lively feel because if I see that I'm getting the responses, I'll definitely come out more often. And I appreciate people coming through. So wherever you're coming from, thank you for making this a part of your day. Thank you so much. We got nine so far. 78% saying they're excited for the NBA. That's not surprising. I think they do a great job of marketing. The product is another story, but you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys mainly, right? I mean, that's CD Lamb, the Troy Aikman, your Troy Aikman in it. Um, I the reality is For every Jefferson and a lot of these cats are blurred today because you're lining up with a name, but a lot of guys can make a name, if you know what I mean. Like if Aaron Rodgers had help, these guys play well, then you get a Devontae Adams, that's a steal. I just don't understand these guys as players so off that they just gotta hold their role, and a lot of them ain't holding their role. That's the problem. A lot of guys can't hold their role. So we're in an era and time, like I'm looking at Tampa Bay and you got Michael Evans, but you got receivers, you got difference. I'm like, you guys aren't holding your role. When you say that, that's what makes Kansas City's dominance so staggering because it's like you supposedly got number ones and y'all can't find a way to utilize nothing. So, because like, I'm like, you're right. I mean, for every Tyreek Hill, it's like pretty sad. And down the line, it's just like, a lot of guys are, I don't know if they're trying to compete to be another first option. I don't know what they doing. It ain't hitting though. It ain't hitting. But a lot of it's the coaching. Like I said, a lot of these cats don't look like they've been rehearsed. That's the problem. The formations, the Poochie. How about the Poochie kickers this year? Let's talk about them the Shawshank, no redemption, boinking, doinking field goal kickers. Cats be kicking 68 yards, but if they got to kick a 28-yard field goal to win, that ball goes, boom, boom. What's up with the kickers? That's sad too. Cats is kicking with crazy feet, but when it comes to like anything within 30 yards, doink. I want to be the Jets kicker. That dude, that dude be hitting that upright. He be hitting that upright like he's these kickers though. These kickers. That's the one that cracks me up. It's like the NBA. Everybody and their mama can shoot a three, but they can't make nothing for 10, 12 feet. If it ain't long range. Unless of course you self check like Bronny and some others that are self check. But these kickers, man, some of these kickers, that's why Kansas City got the best kicker. Yeah, you just see, how important the field goal kicker is. That's why y'all had to get y'all kicker together. Dallas got a good kicker because if they didn't have him, they would really stink. That boy can kick like 70 yards, but that's the only thing they had against Detroit. He had to kick like a 60 some yarder just to put 3 points on the board. And that would have been even worse. See, that's what I'm saying. And the sad part, these cats can kick 50, 60 like it's nothing. But anything 35 inward, good luck. An extra point attempt. Have you noticed, if you've been watching, have you noticed more cat teams are going for 4th and 1? They're not kicking the field goal or the 2-point conversion. I'm like, what about your kicker? He suck. That's because it's a tough job. And, eventually you'll learn how to get it right. But that shows you how much it's gone down. I grew up watching guys who kick for years, you know. I seen guys who could kick. There's a lot of bad kickers out here. A lot of guys are kicking for distance now, but they're not kicking for accuracy. So it's real. But if it's pretty bad. So my thoughts and takes about the kickoff return, it's so strange. It's like watching foosball. Everybody line up, it's like watching foosball. That's how they set up for the kickoff return. I call it foosball. It's hilarious. But sometimes on special teams, they're not getting no good cracks on nobody. So that's noticeable. It's changed. Got 10 so far, 70% saying yeah. Okay. A lot of watch the play. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially in Carolina at quarterback. Mhm. How many more pick sixes he gotta throw I was talking to my uncle. He's a Washington fan. I said, "You're gonna win by 20." We talked on Sunday night, and I don't know, I hung up with him. Turn around, I go pour some water in my glass. Andy Dalton pick six. I'm like, man, there's a lot of them. The Raiders quarterback, he's not washed. He's already born washed up. Garner Show is washed. That's embarrassing. There is a lot of 'em. Just oof. Ye- That's what his birth certificate says. I think his real age is 60. Because I could have sworn it's like 10 years ago when he was with Cincinnati, he helped the Bills get to the playoffs. That's how long ago that's been. Because we hadn't been for like 20 years, and he was the reason. They sent him Christmas cards from Buffalo. They actually sent him holiday cards to tell him thank you. And that was back in 2018. Um, Great question. It's Steph. It's Steph. Because Shaq's as great as Shaq is, who's been the next Shaquille O'Neal? And how many people were trying to do after Shaq? But that Steph Curry thing is like a message out of a bottle. People have been crazy. Uh, Disagree with you. Um, it's Steph. It's Steph. He the impact is uncanny because he's got so many people that have been trying to emulate what he's doing. He got, like I said before, logo threes. So yeah, it's Steph. Even Shaq said that the last 30 years it's Steph. So, you know, I wanted to say Shaq, but I can't. That's a good question, but I can't. I gotta give it up with Steph is the one. All right, I gotta deal with these trolls coming through here. But anyway, that's what I was going. Again, that's a great question, Jay Will. You came out the blue with that one, but that's how I would describe it. It's more impactful. Yeah. Because the three ball has been more dominant. I mean, everybody's doing it. You can see that's how Boston won. They brought in shooters. Why do you think the Knicks brought in Cat to counter Boston? That's that's the impact of the Splash Brothers splash era. Golden State changed the course. They changed the course, and that impact is far more felt than Shaq's low post. So, you know, great question though, and would have been closer if we had seen more. Yeah, it's Curry. It's Curry. It's not even up for discussion because I've seen the last 10 years. And think about this: people who defend James Harden and Damian Lillard, that's the Curry effect. You know, Tr- uh, uh, Trey Young. Think about Trey, Ice Trey. He's a junior Whopper Steph knockoff. Well, he was 58. So come on now. He was 58 and he was done. And that's just the sad reality of it. He played too long. He played about he was stat padding, he was trying to chase another ring. His intentions were kind of greedy and he wasn't the same dude. That's the sad reality. And nobody really cared either because when he retired, it went kind of like a blip because they seen him too much. He looked out of place with Boston and he went to Cleveland, you know. Phoenix, he was decent, but it was done, you know. And they've been around for a long time, you know. I know you wanted to throw that in there to talk about Rudy Gobert, but if Rudy Gobert ever gets anything like a Shaquille O'Neal, you let me know. Rudy actually gives you about 10, 12 rebounds, but his points and the other things ain't enough. I think Minnesota gonna be good though. I think with Julius Randle, I think it's a good fit. I think they got a good squad. That well, not the first one because he came up with that track in '09. Yeah, he wanted to do it in Boston, but he was not in. He was old. He wasn't. It wasn't just the shape. He was done. Body had gave out on him. Yeah, you mentioned old Baker Mayfield, but yeah, they were competitive. I like to think he hung because he's trying to get that bag. That's what I like to think of. I don't think about. Yeah, he knew what Kobe was doing, but they were competitive though. You'll never see that again though. Not two dominant players on the same team and they split and win. That never would happen. You never gonna see LeBron and AD go separate ways and one win because that ain't gonna happen because AD can't win nowhere else without gotta have a mindset. So that's it. That was the end of different era right there. Yeah, he popping. He finds lanes because he's trying to get that bag. You know. Yeah, he was, but the problem was Boston was a better team. They spread him out, and if he was in his peak in his prime, that's a different series. That's a different series if he's peaking prime. No, LeBron wasn't the leader that he's made out to be because if you are utilizing, and he quit on them too. He quit after 3 and 4. See, I'm gonna tell you something about you, LeBroniacs. Y'all act like I didn't forgot about Dan Gilbert. I could do videos about Dan Gilbert calling him a quitter, okay, and hurt your little feelings. Let's see if all y'all will still be running up talking about he's a second grade player, he's on Mount Rushmore. You ain't never heard another owner call an all-time great player a quitter. When you come here on this stream, you can call it my podcast, my stream. You call this my podcast, you call this the podcast. How do you want to call this what I do? Whatever you want to call it. I don't lie about the actual and the factual. He didn't need Paul Gasol. He was supposed to be the face best player in the NBA. He's supposed to take his team to the finals. Allen Iverson took his team to the finals and he had less talent. Do I have to Soul Train history book on you? He took that team to the finals. Dwight Howard went to the finals with the Orlando Magic. LeBron took that Cleveland Cavaliers team in '07, which was less talented, by the way. By the way. No, he wasn't cut to win. That's why he went to Dwayne Wade. He didn't have the mental aptitude to win. That's why he took his talents to South Beach, because he didn't have that it. That's why he went. He was a raw talent who needed to get some polishing. That's why he left. Paul Gasol wasn't gonna sit there and play with him. No, he wasn't there. But now you answering the question. I already told you before. Show me another cat where the owner says that you soft, that you suck, that you quit. That's what the LeBroniacs don't ever want to talk about. Oh, Dwight Howard was balling that year. I know KG was hurt, but that's like Dwight. They played good defense. I know it was awful, but you see, the point is this: Allen Iverson. Think about his size and what he did, and think about what he had us on offense. Think about his offense. Come on now. Y'all always got excuses for LeBron, but y'all don't want to talk about Dan Gilbert saying that he quit, call him a quitter. Y'all can say whatever you want, but you show me another superstar where the owner came out and said he quit. He sucks. He's jive. Please find that person for me. Please do. Because I've never seen it. When you LeBron folks come at me, I will come up with receipts where I quote Dan Gilbert. And LeBron went back there with his head between his legs, talking about, please, Massa, I'll come back to you and we'll win together. And he was crying in Miami, and LeBron cried back. And then when they got to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2017-18, he gets there and gets that Eastern Conference token trophy, but he always gets that in pouts, pouting his face. He's back there, got to go through Dan Gilbert. Please. Vince Carter was playing for Toronto. Are you kidding me? They went 6, 7 games in them series. There was nothing. There was nothing, but no, no. They weren't better. No. He didn't cry for him. Shoot, San Antonio hated him so bad, they were dumb enough to trade him for Will Purdue. That's how bad the Rodman hate was. He didn't cry for him. He utilized him. I ain't never joined in cry for Rodman. He utilized him. They were good enough at that time. Vince was arguably top 2. He was worth, they was a good enough team. They were there. Philly didn't steamroll over nobody. But anyway, the point is, that's what you LeBroniacs don't ever want to talk about. And I'm here to tell you, owner called you out. Owner said you was soft and you quit. That's all I remember. That's why you took your butt and cried and about, I'm gonna take my time to South Beach. 'Cause the owner said you was garbage. Had a yard sale to burn your jerseys. And then he cried because Cleveland stunk. And he's like, please come back, LeBron. Like, can I come back home? I'm going back home. And that's how all these turkeys come out here crying about I want to go home because LeBron cried. You even had Darren Williams talk about I'm gonna cry to go back to Dallas. Can I go back home? Y'all want me to do all these cats that were crying in the NBA because LeBron started where I want to go home and oh god. You got that ring, and then every next 2 years when you win the Eastern Conference Finals, you got that pout face because you had to walk by Dan Gilbert. So that's why LeBron's not believable or credible, crying all the time. So Jeannie Buss is like his cup to it's probably the favorite owner he ever had. He'll probably I got one for Ted already. He'll probably try to get into the Hall of Fame as a Laker. Cause he ain't gonna get Pat Riley to kiss the rings. And we know how him and Dan Gilbert finished. So there you go. Well, he's right because he actually played defense. They actually played defense. There's a big difference when you're playing zone where you can cheat and dance and circle around and manipulate as opposed to playing man on man. There's a big difference. So yeah, he ain't lying. But he came in a different era though. That's not a fair equation because there was a different era. That's why I don't like comparing eras, and that's why it's hard to say someone is greater than or that and the other because it was a different era. The game has changed every 10 years. The NBA today does not look the same as it did 10 years ago. Because when Steph and the Splash Brothers was dominating, you didn't have a cat like Jokic who could shoot like that. Yeah, but it was a different era. You can't compare it to now. Can't compare it. Changes every 10 years. If you watch basketball, you will look and see fundamentally it's changed what they incorporate style wise. That was called a lot more. But they were actually coming off of screens and traps. That's what Jordan and Pippen did. They would switch. And that's how they got turnovers, they got steals, and they clamped down. And they were able to face guard you. They were actually, they were pushing cats out subtly. It looked like they was putting 3 on 1. Different era though. Different era. Can't compare. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. We got more faces coming through. Glad to see people through. I got what I got it right there. I am going to use your, but I'll use it for a later video that I do with those two. I'll take the ESPN. I'm going to use it my way though. What's so funny? What's so funny? Tell me what's so funny. You got teeth out here. He sure do. And don't wanna answer what I said either. Act like what I said don't matter. Ted know what I'm talking about. Shoot, show me another owner that ripped the superstar like that. Say you suck, you quit, you punk, go, you suck. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. I ain't got look, Michael Jordan, yeah. And the thing about it is this, when we talking about eras, it's just not fair. That's why I don't like these heads on sticks. When I get asked who I think the greatest players are, I mention them and I say you got probably 10 or 12 guys who are considered the greatest. Hey, definitively, because you're talking different eras, you're talking different criteria, you're talking different things. The reason why LeBron don't come up close on my list is because he doesn't meet the criteria for my perspective. I never had a guy that played back in the day that said, "Oh, I have to take my talents to play with somebody so I can learn how to win." Yeah, Shaq is always a bit envious, but I'm gonna say it like this: Wemby can shut him up. If they win this year, he can shut him up. If they are a playoff contending team, he can shut him up. He thinks Wemby is going to fold and settle for outside shots and not be. So that's why. So let that be motivation. Let that be motivation. I hope Wemby shuts him up because I've been impressed with his footwork on the outside. He's shooting outside, but I hope he shuts him up. But a lot of that situation, he doesn't think he's a leader. He doesn't think he can be effective, and that's going to be a question mark. Can Wemby get them to another level? Can he propel them with the guard play? You know, so I hope he shuts him up. I know what Shaq is trying to get at with him because he's like, you finesse and you soft and. But this is Pop's last. Pop may make one last statement. So we'll see. I still say their guard play is going to be huge. That's all I got to say about that. Can they come up with the right guard play to complement him and catch him? They do what they're supposed to do. Wimby could be a problem. If they don't, it'd be a waste. So that's gonna be a big question mark. Well, some people think he should have retired with Duncan, but he's too competitive, you know. And the Spurs are it's just like the Belichick situation. Sometimes you hang on too long, pops, and you just stat padding and not in a good way. Cause this is not even his style of NBA. Outside shooting and finesse and all that. They changed the NBA. Even though Golden State did take a page out of the Spurs book, that's how Steve Kerr approached it. But they're too finesse. There's stuff that he would never do. Yeah, because they draft real well. They get good picks. They have one of the best GMs ever. They do they do get the right kind of people in the draft. Not so much that they trade for the right people, but the draft they draft great. The pickup free agents is kind of hit and miss. But he should consider. They will be a threat though. I mean, if the Wimby, if they get up the right guards and the play, oh yeah, who wouldn't want to play with that kid? He young and he got an upside to him. And you can definitely see if he's healthy and motivated, that's a 10, 12 year run. So who wouldn't want to jump in on that? Because if I look around the West, as far as the younger teams go, I told you before, and I'm gonna say this right now. If you put Victor Wemby's style with the Rockets, that's a top 16. Because Udoka got them, and you get a Victor Wemby with them, that'd be a top 16. Yeah, LaMarcus wasn't a Hall of Famer. I liked him a lot, but I remember when he was with the Spurs, and you remember it was talking about Wilt Chamberlain, Junior Whopper, and all that mess, and then he had them off games, and then Popovich in the fourth quarter sat his butt next to him, sat his butt down. Oh, Shaq. Come on now, Shaq. If you weren't around, you don't know. Shaq, of course. Shaq was big out of college, the hype. He had a movie. He was rapping. He was on Arsenio. Shaq, of course. Wemby's big. That's meat. It's a different type of meat. And see again, if you're not old enough to remember, Wemby with the international flavor. They weren't hyping the national players like that back then. Shaq was big. Shaq was big. He came out, it was big. He was number one draft pick. And Orlando Magic were a new team. So, and Shaq easily will hype. Wemby's style, but Shaq, the Shaq expectations were huge. Yeah, Shaq hype was huge. He had figurines. He was in a movie rapping. He was a big bubbly kid. Oh yeah. He was picked one of the 50 greatest players in '96. Some people had exception to that because he had been to one final. They didn't think that, but they was banking on hype. So he came already. Yeah, that should answer your question right there. When they had, I don't think if they had the top 80 greatest players ever, that Victor Wemby's gonna make it right now. That's how to answer your question. That should put the Shaquille O'Neal factor for you right there. See, when you come on this channel and I do these lives and we have questions like this, I'm gonna give you some actual. That's the actual. Shaq came in '92. They had the '96 top 50 greatest. Shaq was put in there with that jacket, and he had gone to one finals. He was still a fresh pup. Okay, he had a gold medal and all that at the time. But Victor Wemby, if you're the top 80 ever, they're not gonna put him in that. Say it's like top 4 or 5 years later. Unless, of course, he does something this year or next year. If he does something, then that would make it a different horse of a color. But at this stage, no, no. 64% is hype for the NBA. Well, that kind of came down. Okay, that's okay. Okay. Split, split. I can dig it. Please continue with the questions, and still, as the viewers have come through. So, as long as y'all got questions, I'll stay on. If y'all got questions, I'll stay on. If I don't see nothing coming through, I'm gonna be off in 12 minutes. But if I see stuff, this is kind of like this was this is what I call a sneak attack coming live tonight. Glad I got some feedback and we're looking forward to it. But yeah, keep on with some questions if you want. And keep on smashing up those likes too, because the more likes I get, the goodness. And I appreciate all the polls. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So we got coming through what we got. Mhm, mhm. People getting quiet again on me. Come on now, come on now, come on now, come on now. Oh yeah, the Jalen Brown thing is live. I already done it already. Yes, I did. What I got right here. What I got right here. Oh, because he didn't want to play there. That's kind of an odd take to just bring him out the blue because I hadn't really thought about him. I think about him, the potential. And I'm gonna tell you a story too. Weren't for Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, he probably would have won the slam dunk contest and when Vince won. He was balling that night. People forget how high he got up. He had some spring in him. Steve Franchise was balling. I seen him on an interview recently. He was in lockup and he had to go to a funeral. I remember. Pretty low key dude. Yeah. He was he was yeah, he but it wasn't the same. Now, to me, talking about him, he was like a broke version of AI. He was like a broke Iverson and a precursor to John Morant. I love Starberry, but Starberry had the worst ego. Because I always thought Marbury was like a what I call a cleaner version of Iverson, but he couldn't keep himself focused. Francis was talented, but not disciplined. And that's what messed him up. Him and Yao didn't work. Should have had a better career. Got some crazy hops, could shoot, dribble. But, again, cats be getting into other things, which ain't always about what they're supposed to. And that's what mess them up. So just saying. So like them though. Like them both. But I gotta call it like I call it. So sometimes guys are their own worst enemy because they start, yeah. So, but I like Stevie franchise though. Mhm. Just didn't last long. That's all. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna argue with y'all on that. I like them both, but I didn't. I think that they both shortchanged the public and their careers. Yeah. The one that Two Raw put on his thing, and which I appreciated. Yeah, well, it's got me thinking, is he, a Hall of Famer? Because it brought back the questions, and I remember Rob Parker had talked about it, and some people had gone south on him. They had forgot about him. If he gets a ring and 500 home runs, he's in. No, he get the 500 home runs and wins a ring, he's in, and all is almost forgotten about the downside of his career. But he's got to do all that, whereas Aaron Judge just got to win a ring. Aaron Judge gonna get in regardless. That's why I said things don't be fair. It's the Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum situation. Jalen Brown got to do 3 times as much to what because it's different. We do not look at everybody the same. He did, and I admit it. I'm man enough to say he did. I said it in the video. I think that's why I got such a good response because I said, because he hadn't really brought it. And I watch him, he was lethargic, he was injured, he wanted more money. And you're playing for the Yankees and you gotta bring it, and he didn't. But this year he shut me up. I mean, he had some moons. He was balling. Came up big against Kansas City, but what he did, yeah. And I got news for you too. If you're a Yankee fan, you know good and well everybody would have been fired. That's going. Aaron Boone would have been fired 5 times over. Brian Cash would have been fired 10 times over. Stanton would have been let go. He would have tried to find pieces for uh, Aaron Judge. Cole would have been on a short leash. I'm telling you. I know how the old man thought. That man, some of that stuff, if you're an old school Yankee fan, you know exactly what I'm saying. I ain't saying nothing that you go, oh, well, no, no, no. He would have gone after Soto probably after soon as Washington. He'd have tried to get him. I know what he would have done. I know exactly what he'd have done, you know. So, because he would have been looking at the Dodgers, he'd have been looking at across the line and said, I got to get what they got. Hmm. So, but yeah, it'll be poetic justice if they win. It's been a long time. I mean, you talking 15 years. If you're a Yankee fan. See, I know Yankee fans are spoiled. You go to some other teams, they're like, "Well, I just want to get one." If you're a Yankee fan, oh yeah, he'd have been speaking Japanese. Okay, he'd have been trained. He said, "Don't need no translator." He would have been talking the lingo. You kidding me? Flying first class, Well, if you're still talking about the Houston thing, listen, everybody cheats in baseball because everybody got sign stealers. How can you not cheat when teams can trade players? You have TV, you have jumbotrons, you have too many things. I'm gonna just say it like this: Houston was a better team. They have were the most dominant team the last 10 years because World Series you had to go through them to beat them. Now there wasn't no cheating when Dusty Baker took over, so they went to multiple World Series. So I'm not going to take what they did and just down it like that. People can hate all they want, act like they don't have a talented team. This team that won this year, when the AL West wasn't even that good, and they still won the AL West, and they started off bad. So they've been the best team of the last 10 years. Whether that's the team you had to go through. We'll see if this changes with the. Yeah, the Yankees got good balance of they got good. They got good. I think they can do it. Like I said before, I think a 7-game series. It's gonna be a hard job though, because the Dodgers are no joke. This is the toughest team we've ever gone up against. The toughest. So if you're a Yankee fan, you got to bring your A game and you got to figure out how to slow them down. This might be the toughest. I'm making a bold statement. It might have been the toughest opponent we ever faced in the last 30 years. Well, you got to have Garrett Cole the first one. So Cole's got. I can't think about the second one, but definitely Cole for sure. You want to get your middle relief pitchers going. You want to, again, if you can hold them to 6 runs or less, you can win the series. But if you get into some slugfest with these cats get 8, 10 runs, you ain't beating them. You ain't beating them. And you got to stay on the base pass and you got to cash in. You got to keep them from stealing and run. There's just so many other things that they do because they got, like I said before, they've got MVPs up and down. So Dave Roberts is looking like, you know. Now, if he don't win with them, he'll look like Tony La Russa, a guy who had all that talent and didn't know what to do with it. Because that's what La Russa's knock. La Russa got 3 rings because he don't think the Yankees are their deepest hitters. That's what that's telling me, if you want my honest opinion. And he ain't lying because once we get past Soto, Stanton, and Judge, they're not exactly bombarding you with a lot of runs. They didn't dominate Kansas City. They didn't dominate Cleveland. You think about it. They won with meat and potato, what I call the Paul O'Neill nickel and dime way. So, oh yeah, but he's got a ring already. He gets another one that's 2. There'll be 2 rings in 4 years. And I got a feeling that if they win this year, he's gonna go on a little bit of a run. I got a feeling he can go on a run because they're gonna own the NL West ain't no joke. I mean, the Padres is right there. And you got Philly and you got Atlanta. You got teams on the West, but they are a bit better. They they just a bit better. They just a bit better. And he knows it too. So he's sitting on the gold mine if he parlays it. So, but tell me why? Because I haven't really paid a lot of attention. But tell me why. It's the only reason why they hate on him because he doesn't give them the time of day. He might speak his mind. That's the only reason why they hate on him. Unless they're trying to Kamala Harris him and he ain't going for that. Because he is half black and half Asian. And he might not want them to give them an agenda. And it's been acknowledged that, because he probably doesn't play the game. That's all it is. And that's what it comes down to. He know what he went through. He did talk about race back in Boston. He had something he said. Yeah, he does acknowledge he's Asian. They mentioned that in the media, but he does talk. He real. Oh yeah, because he had an episode. That was 20 years ago. Something went down. He talked about. Mhm. He know what he's sitting in. He know where he's at. He know that he's only the 3rd brother to get to win a ring in Major League Baseball history. Let that sink in. As long as baseball's been around, you've only had 3 African American managers win, and only one that's did 2, and that was Cito Gaston. Dusty Baker came close. Think about it, and that's in the last 30 years. Can I let that sink in? All the winners that have won that were black is in the last 30 years. Cito Gaston to Dusty Baker, Dave Roberts. Think about it. We're not talking 60, 90. We talking 30. I'll give you that. Mr. 90 plus wins. Yeah, because he does look smart. He's compact the team because again, get out of that Earl Weaver 3-run home run mindset, simplify and utilize. That's what they're doing. They're playing smart baseball. It's not pretty, but it's effective. I like the philosophy. Yeah, that's why they look better this year than they did with him in years past. And it's a smart move. He took a page out of Harbaugh's book. I told you they remind me of one another, guys that are really good, but we're getting their own shadow sometimes. He's managing great. I give him his due. He wins a ring, yeah. I don't put a meathead label by him now, no way, because he's in the World Series. So I've taken that title from him anyway. But he wins a ring. He won't. He can. Don't mess up. But one of the greatest GMs ever because he won 5 rings, 7 World Series, 8 World Series now. Incredible story. 30 years, incredible, incredible. Well, I want to take that back. Bob Watson was a GM there, but 4 ring. But either way you look at it, one of the greatest GMs ever. Smart, tactful, stayed with the philosophy, didn't overdo it. See, the problem is a lot of people who look on the outside say, "Oh, you'll buy everything." No, what has Cashman really done? You could say back when they got Clemens and uh, A Rod and all that, but they won. They're not really getting big free agents though. Who are they getting as a big free agent? Because Garrett Cole, you could say Giancarlo, Soto, but really, are they really like? I mean, come on now. Are they really like that dude? Because when I say like that dude, he didn't get Bryce Harper. He didn't get Otani. You know, they didn't get Tejadas. I can name you cats they didn't get. So he's playing within a good budget. It's not like that. I don't look at them like they're overdoing it. The Dodgers got more better payroll. Baltimore's got more payroll than the Yankees got. That's all I'm saying. I like to see this big whoop where it's like, oh, you know, but I don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something. Enlighten me, educate me. I just don't see that. I think he's been smart, you know. And I'm glad that he got a chance to stay around because, like I told you, George was around. He'd been fired like 20 years. He'd been fired pretty much. He held him on after '04, but he'd have been fired about 2013. They'd have fired him 10 years ago about 4 times because they weren't happening. And that's why it's so good to see that they did it now. And I think he's a very good GM. I think he's one of the best GMs ever. That's a tough job. 'Cause you got to understand ego, you got to understand the pieces. So, yeah. Okay, I got more views coming on. So, anybody feel free to want to keep hitting those likes up. Anybody wants to come through, welcome it. I don't mind people lurking. So, if you ever got any comments, as long as it's good questions, it don't pertain to nothing that is negative or trolling, by all means, come through. So, yeah. But to be a Yankee legend, he's got to win. We So I did a video. You saw the video. He wins a ring, he's great. It's Hall of Fame, all that. He wins two or three, then we get into Yankee lore. Because with two or three chips, another league MVP and a World Series MVP, then we start talking about him where he ranks all time as a Yankee. He gets to about 500 home runs with a ring and a league MVP and popularity. He'll be a bottom end top 10 a Yankee. But if he wins two or three rings, then he moves up into that six, seven. He won't approach Jeter. So get that out your head. He won't approach Rivera. Get that out your head. But in my eyes, he's got room to grow. So that's how big it could be for him. What's so funny? Tell me what's so funny. Tell me what's so funny. I want to know what's so funny with that. What did I say funny? Because I got Yankee standards. Yankee people Yankee fans don't look at stuff like other. Like if you mention some other teams, cats say, "Well, if you win a ring, you forever." It cuts different. If he was to win like a three-peat and then win like so like if they three-peated and he won two he won two MVPs and he won like uh MVPs in the World Series, he'd be on his heels. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because of the think about it. Think about him, Mariah Carey, Tiger Woods. Think about complex. Think about the imagery. And he is big as a Yankee. And he is the face of the Yankees. And he's big, strong. No Diddy. Put that in totality. He won't be bigger than Jeter in terms of popularity, but if he wins, if he's walking around with three or four rings, so who have you encountered with the Red Sox fans? Tell me. Because I don't know. What did they say that was backwards? I haven't even had an encounter with a Red Sox fan in quite a long time, if you must know. They ain't done nothing the last few years. They just been an average team. And they actually are what I call a decent mediocre team in that they can win 84 games, but they're not a team that see the AL East is tougher. Baltimore ain't no joke. And depends on how Tampa Bay decides to come to play. So the Red Sox, they're kind of like they're just not, but they don't have any firepower. I know I had to deal with that with some knucklehead. Some turkey was coming at me with that mess. I'm like, what did we buy? What did we buy? Giancarlo Stanton been with the Yankees for how many years now? Garrett Cole's been with the Yankees like for how many years now? Soto's the only thing that we got that's fresh. What did we buy? And if you want to talk about buying stuff, shoot, I told you Dodgers buy more than anybody. Baltimore, I can name you teams. But the problem with Boston is that those guys they're not a top tier team. They are what I call a nice mediocre 84, 85 win. They're not, that's their problem. That's all they doing. But what they're getting there is not that they don't have that caliber guy. That's the problem. You know, that's what they're mad about. That they're a mediocre team. What can I do about that? It's not my problem that y'all ran Theo Epstein. Whatever y'all running, it ain't happening. You had a great enough to celebrate. You got 4 rings and last, so whatever. They already did. Ask them what Aaron Judge is. Aaron Judge is homegrown, ain't he? I'm doing a live chat. What you doing? Aaron Judge is a homegrown. Thank you. Thank you. See, and that guy is where is he at? He got a ring already in La La Land. What's he doing? Y'all ain't had nobody replace Mookie since he left. So how can they talk? Guy like Mookie should have retired a Red Sox. Should have been there for like 15 years. Should have, and he should have been after Big Papi, your next most enshrined player. Mookie could have been like your Strimsky, where you have like a Mookie Boulevard. Y'all made that. They made that mistake. I don't. That was dumb. I hold Mookie Betts in high regard. Mookie is a bad dude. That's the guy that bugs me. Be a Yankee fan. Yep. You preaching. Preach, preacher. Preach. You preaching. I'm a kind of person. If I even put you in the state Roberts, I'll put you in the same sentence. Yeah, he would. Put you in the same sentence with Ricky Henderson. That means you a bad boy. And if you're stupid enough to let him go, I can't feel sorry for you. They dumb. And that's why they struggling. And I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for them at all. So that's on them. They didn't want it. They wanted to keep him. That's on them. That's why they're being cursed now. That's why they butt can't go nowhere, can't get even in as a wild card. And the East is better. Believe the Baltimore's ain't saying the Yankees are, Freeman is a beast. I told you the Dodgers are stacked. They stacked. It's gonna be a tough series. I know what they got. That's why I get mad as a Yankee fan because I tell anybody, I say, y'all should be complaining about the Dodgers. They're the ones that stockpile. We not stockpile. They got 4 freaking MVPs over there. They got household names over there. Clayton Kershaw is a household name. Mookie Betts household name. Shohei Ohtani household name. Come on now. Freeman was an MVP. Do I need to keep going on? Might be the toughest World Series we've had. See, we played Atlanta in the 90s. You had Hall of Fame with Glavine and Maddox and Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, what have you. Now, better. We're not in that conversation. We're underdogs. A-Rod said it best the other night. We're the underdogs in this series. They got a stacked squad. We don't have a stacked squad. Because you're sounding like these people who be talking about we bought something. No, they got a stacked squad. Oh yeah, we talking historical, but what I'm saying this year, they got a stacked squad. If I'm being honest and no bias and straight up, they should beat us. Talent wise, on paper, they should. On paper, because they have a lot of depth. I've been watching them play. Shoot. You scoring 10 runs on teams. They had a game against the Mets. Remember that game the other night? The Mets were up by 8 and they still was scared because they came back. They got 4. Like, who does that? That's like some Golden State Warriors action. They can go crazy. They can go crazy on you. Mets had to put up a 12 burger to beat them. So I'm just telling you. It's supposed to be NBA. And I messed up on the heading. It was NBA. That's all, Maddie. It was NBA. Not NBA. It was the return of the NBA. So I couldn't quite get it, but people understood what I was saying. National Basketball Association. If you're in America, it's the National Basketball Association. I got some votes on it so far. But yeah, I'm just saying the Dodgers are I'm just saying. I'm not gonna even argue that. I'm not gonna be one to lie. Oh, what's happening, mate? How you doing, mate? Glad to have you. Yeah, the NBA, and it's popular in Australia too. I know about your basketball team. What part of Australia? It's late there too. Early in the morning, I should say. My bad. It's in the morning time. Glad you came up bright and early too. Thank you for coming on, Maddie. Always welcome people coming on all over the world. And, well, that's a heck of a compliment. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I appreciate that you came on real early. Because I know that the time differential, and then the weather's gonna be good too. But yeah, NBA stands for National Basketball. Popular. Is Victoria near Sydney, or how far is it from there? And if you want to share that with the audience, feel free. How far is Victoria from Sydney? You know what? I'll tell you this much. I don't call women out their name like that because I'm a respectful gentleman and I don't do that. But I appreciate you. You're good for the ego, though. You definitely good for the ego. Well, because I don't flaunt money on here. See, one things is that I do. If people want to donate, they can donate and however they want to, and membership, etc. But I don't throw cash and stuff around, so that's probably why I don't get that kind of attention. Okay, I don't do that, so that's probably why I don't. We get more people be even temple. Oh yeah, well, hats are a trademark. Hats are a trademark. I do like style and profiling, and I like to mix and match because I like when I present myself, I like it to have some flair. But that's just in me. It's not because I'm doing it for no, that's just that's part of how I roll. That's all. I got nothing to do with no movies because I grew up with people rocking hats. My grandfather did it, my father did it, family members did it. That's just all. I like rocking hats. And I thought I just wanted to rock this one tonight. That's all. Oh, well, if I come back on Friday, I will be rocking the Yankees cap. It's just that I shot some videos and I have to give a little bit of a rest. I will be wearing it. Don't worry. That's what I've been told. That's why I decided to do live streams and do YouTube videos and also to talk because I was told I had a good voice and I wanted to put to good use and make sure that if I did content, that people would reciprocate. So that's why I'm here. And I touch on a whole lot of topics. If you come through the live stream, we talk about a lot of everything. Videos. I got a ton of videos. If you hit the membership or subscription or what have you, you'll see that I have a lot of videos of different topics. So and I do take requests, but again, people sign up or something like that, then I got even special videos. Musically, I run the gamut. I go all the way from um, Duke Ellington to Michael Jackson to Steely Dan to Jimi Hendrix, Sly and the Family Stone, or Friend and Fire, Aretha Franklin, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Steve Wonder, Miles Davis, um, Public Enemy, Chicago, you know, uh, Cavallo, no, Placido Domingo, and Andre Bocelli. It depends. Musically, I don't have limits. I tend to be more prefer R&B and jazz, but the gospel music with Andre Crouch, Edwin Hawkins, Mighty Clouds of Joy. So again, and then Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Charlie Pride, Ray Charles, you know, Robert Johnson. Um, it just depends. So musically, it's a wide range. Wide range. Bee Gees. Wide range. Wide range. No, people talk it, but it's another thing when you listen to it. Cause that's like I have conversations about music all the time. And I get into some interesting debates about who I like, what I don't like. I don't. Because the thing is this, those shows are fake. Um, To have artistry in your career, yeah, he probably did do a good cover, but why did he have to do that cover of that song? It's a 40-year-old song. That's what they wanted him to do. I want to see acts that actually have careers. There's a difference between winning an award show and actually having a career. As long as we understand that these shows are fake. That's not how the industry really is. That's just like American Idol. They sell you on a certain type of career. That's not how it really go down. That's not how it really go down. Because you could.
Okay. I found this on the web for they sell you on a certain type of your career. That's not how really go down. That's not highway to go out. Check it out.
They have to because that's what the industry wants. That's where the money's at. There's no money in new music. They don't want to promote no new music a lot, but it was a great song though. Tracy Chapman is a very good songwriter, and she wrote a song that connected, and it allowed that. But the problem is that the industry, that's all they care about. They know what's recycled because everything is like karaoke. Everything is like a sing along. That's what it is. They don't promote new music. You know, she's related to Michael Jackson too. They're cousins. Got the same eyebrows. You can tell if you look at the eyebrows. Talented artist, and I'm glad that she got the country music award last year. You know, so but I don't trust the industry. Yeah, you can tell by the bone structure. She looks like a Jackson. It came out later in the career, but yeah. Hmm. Hmm. But I don't really pay the war. I don't really pay them kind of shows no attention because again, you got people who come on. I used to when Idol came out. What about him? What you want to talk about with him? I go back his whole career, and he was used as a window dresser to sell the industry without any real talent. But oh, the industry is disgusting. But that's what the industry's about. I talk about that on these live streams. I do videos about it. If you ever watch any of my videos, I talk about him and fight him. That's all part of the business. It's always been the way. He's just, you know, oh, of course he do. They all do. Everybody got a video. You got to. Do you know how cold blooded the industry is that they will knock you off the side of the road, literally and figuratively? Andre Harrell, Russell Simmons, Clive Davis. He got taught from the best. And that's what you learn. You learn tactics. You learn how to strong arm your artists, pay them dirt cheap, publishing, marketing. And he was a good marketer, you know. So, yeah, because you're in a world where everybody cross contaminates, everybody's splitting germs. So, it's a dirty business, but somebody's going to do it. My problem with him has always been the fact that I knew he was musically a fraud. That was my problem with him because he wasn't no producer. He wasn't no singer. He wasn't no rapper. But the industry pushed it and Clive Davis was behind it. So that was my problem with him. As far as what he does at them parties, there are a lot of people that know what goes on there. They're not that gullible. They're not that dumb. They know what goes on. You know, they a lot of them willingly went there and knew what was up. They knew how depraved it was. But see, you get people who get so star struck and they got to get into losing weight and doing all kinds of freaky things. That's not a surprise. Not a shock at all. I'm not condoning him, but people know. They know. They make trades all the time, something strange for the change. I've been telling and I've been consistent. I told you, booty for Looty. cheeks for checks. I keep preaching it. It's like that in every form of business, including sports. You ain't heard that one yet. But you know Diddy didn't made his way through the NBA. And it ain't just LeBron either. You'll see. You'll be surprised at the people that's gonna get caught up in this situation. It's gonna be a spider web that you didn't see. That's why some people think the Epstein options might be forthcoming. He better. But the question is, will they come after Clive? That's the one. I doubt it. I doubt it. There's a lot of them that they could come after, but it's gonna be some people you didn't expect. Oh, they involved, yeah. Brady went to them white parties. Robert Kraft be at them parties too. Robert Kraft be up there letting Diddy wear his ring and Meek Mills up there dancing. Come on now. Come on now. I'm telling you, this thing is bigger than you can imagine. You won't look at nobody the same because all of them are connected. Politicians, athletes. I ain't hear nothing about Josh. I ain't heard nothing about Josh. But I see certain things. I ain't hear nothing about Josh. But I know LeBron likes him a lot, so that got me for cause for concern. He may have been, I don't know. I know Will Smith been there. That's a fact. That's a fact. And Will, well, everybody know about Will though. So ain't nothing like a Diddy party. Yeah. He'll never live that one down. That ain't the only thing. I'll probably be going out in just a second because around this time I'll be on for a couple hours and this thing starts to act funny. Keep him smashing up, keep hitting those smashes. 57% says yes for the NBA. That's good. We got votes tonight. Glad I decided to make a dip in here tonight. I won't be doing it tomorrow because I got to be out tomorrow. But yeah, they all on it. 15 votes. I think it's going to be like 50-50 now. I think it's because there are people that are split with the NBA. I think that with the excitement of NFL, I think that with college football is exciting. I think that the Major League Baseball is exciting. I don't think that because most people like myself don't get excited about the NBA until we get to the second half of the season. I don't think there's anything that's that alluring. People want to. I will tell you the storylines. Will Boston repeat? What will become of Philadelphia with Embiid with Paul George? Will this be Giannis's? If him and Dame don't work with Doc Rivers, will he want out? What will be the Knicks window? That's gonna be interesting with Brunson and Cat. That's intriguing. Will this be the end of Jimmy Butler in Miami? Is Orlando for real or were they a fluke? That's gonna be compelling. What's gonna happen to Trey Young? That's a storyline. Who else in the East? Indiana. Yeah. Will they get better or will they get worse? Tyler. Oh, have you seen Tyler Halliburton? Have you seen him? Did you see Tyler Halliburton? He be getting. He's got it's snow machine at his house. Crazy videos I seen. Yeah, he's got the Paul Pierce party going on. He need to be working on his game though. And then in the West, yeah, he was wilding. In the West, these are the storylines. Dallas, do they get back? Does Luca get back? Because it starts off slow. OKC, do they take the next step up? What else? Caruso, compelling storyline. Minnesota, is it for real? Is Ant the next guy? Denver, do they come back or do they regress? Those are the ones. And then of course, the Lakers. What will that freak show? What will that mean? Golden State, do they have anything? New Orleans, is Zion for real? What are they going to do? Houston, are they on the come up? San Antonio, are they on the come up? So you got some interesting stories, but the real fascinating stories is the Celtics, the Knicks, the Sixers, and the Bucks. There's like a 4 or 5. Those are four interesting stories in the East, and then in the West, it's Dallas, OKC, Minnesota, and Denver. So you got 8 compelling stories, and then out of those 8, there's probably about 3 that'll intrigue. That's how I look at it. So we'll see. Yeah, I cracked up about his video though. Cracked up. I'm not surprised by the poll being closed because I think the NBA, the hype is bigger than the actual play, and I think people are looking for something different. I was glad that the playoffs happened last year where all the old guards got beat. I'm looking forward to the new guards taking over. I really am. I would like to see that be the norm because I'm tired of the same old same, if you know what I mean. So 50-50 right now. Okay, I'm going to get ready to close it. Appreciate you coming through. Have a good one, and we'll be Siren Night out. Thank you for stopping through. Appreciate. Have a good one, and we'll catch you real soon because I do got to bounce. It's getting about that time. Yeah, because I think you done gone. Did get 17 polls in here, so I appreciate that though. A lot of people were talking about the NBA, so well, yeah, I decided because it's the first night of the NBA, so I thought I would do that. I figured the hype would be real strong. I gotta go do a couple of videos before I go eat, so yeah, well, because it's turned a lot of people off. That's why, and some of it's because of your favorite, your team. If I got to see the father and son, I mean, it's yeah. People getting tired of the freak show. They want some real substance. More people I encounter watching more old NBA games on on YouTube than they're watching what's being presented. I wonder why. Because they feel like they're being shortchanged quality. And I'm not arguing. People ain't blinded. They know what Adam Silver's putting down. You know, his in season tournament crap and all this everybody shooting, everybody getting, no. It's some bad basketball. So hopefully we'll get, something compelling. Hopefully we'll have a compelling. Maybe we'll have a New York Knicks Minnesota Timberwolves finals. That would be compelling. We need something that no one sees coming to have real parity. We need that parity. So anyway, I'll give it a couple more, then I'm gonna call it a night. Appreciate everybody coming through. It's been a nice couple hours. Had a great time. Poll take so appreciate everything. Just keep adding on. Anybody want to keep coming on? Feel free. And appreciate all the support. Thank you always, Ted, J. Will, people that stay by all the time. And I'm always, you know, trolls. Y'all got to stay away though. But anyway, keep hitting up the likes. Appreciate you coming through. And everybody stay safe, stay blessed, stay true, stay real. I'm gonna work on some videos too. By the way, I gotta do a couple ones before I gotta get out of here. But just thanks again. I got some videos coming on some stuff. So all right now, I'm gonna sign off just in a minute. So appreciate. Thank you. And I will be back again next few days. You decide to come in real late. If you're coming on, please hit the like too, by the way. If you're gonna come on, please hit the like before I go. I'd like to get one more like before I go. The poll is definitely good. It's 50-50 split. So I don't even know where you're coming from, Harold and Hansi, but anyway, we'll stay on for a couple minutes. Then I gotta go. It's 50-50 poll. That shows you how divided it is, but that's a good thing. We definitely had a good time. Appreciate everyone coming through. I feel good. I've been like doing like this is like so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 5 straight nights. So this was good. Got to talk about a lot of different topics. So this is cool. All right. I'm gonna give one more minute. People coming through. Hope they had a good day. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are in the world. Appreciate you coming through. Had some real good, intriguing moments. So okay. I'm gonna get anybody else coming through. See one more came through. All right. 53% say no. Appreciate the poll. I always like seeing that. That makes it worth the while. Get a good poll question when people want to respond. You definitely feel the energy is good. So okay, so we're gonna cut it in one more minute. Glad to have people come through, and it's been a good night so far. So appreciate it as always. I done really felt that everything was nice tonight. Some good conversation, good humor, good times. So I'm gonna let it run and enjoy. All right. It's been a good few days. It's been like a week equivalent with everything. So yeah. All right now. So appreciate everybody coming through, and I hope everybody have a great night. Stay up, stay safe, stay blessed. If you hit the membership or if you want to add on or what have you, feel free to do. And again, I'll take requests and I take everything. So I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Peace.